Hey guys, Mr. Nichols here with a quick follow-up to our Ecological Pyramids Poggle. If you struggle with that, don't worry. It was meant to be kind of an exploration, and if you had a hard time, you could have always used the hints there. But if we had some difficulty, feel free to just let me know. So looking at this here, I'd like to kind of highlight some of the key concepts that we should have walked away from the Poggle with. So I'd recommend taking this little worksheet and filling out these questions somewhere in your notes. So we've already talked about, as you can see in the background here, we've already talked about different trophic levels. So remember, trophic levels are basically just that niche or that role that an organism has. So the first trophic level is always going to be the producers. They're always going to be on the bottom of our ecological pyramids. Then the primary consumers eat the producers, secondary consumers eat the primary consumers, and tertiary consumers eat the secondary consumers. So we're mapping out the movement of energy from one organism to another. So if you look here, we have the acorn as the base of our first food chain example. And then we have an acorn being eaten by a squirrel, and then a squirrel being eaten by a crow, and then a crow being eaten by a coyote. So the idea here is that we're mapping the energy flowing from one organism to the other as they're eating each other there. So through our Poggle, we should have identified that at each step, there's an approximate decrease. So only about 10% of that energy is available between each of those steps. So that means 90% of that energy is going to be lost. So we call this the 10% rule. So as you move up in trophic level, you'll only have 10% of that energy available at the next trophic level. So let's look at another example here real quick. So this one is a marine ecosystem. So as our producer, we have phytoplankton. Our primary consumer is going to be shrimp. The secondary consumer is going to be the snapper turtle. And the tertiary consumer is going to be the snake. So the same thing, we're seeing that exact same energy flow from one organism to another as they're eating each other. Okay. So let's take a look at the first couple questions on the back side here. So if only 10% of that energy is being conserved between each of those trophic levels, what happens to the rest of it? So this wasn't explicitly explained in the Poggle, but that energy, if we think about this here, if you were to rub your hands together really fast, you can feel heat being produced. So although the chemical process is slightly different, the idea is the same. So that energy is being lost as heat. So when you eat a sandwich at lunch, you're only able to access 10% of that energy that was in there. Okay. Now, if we remember correctly from our Poggle, it wasn't exactly 10% every time. It does fluctuate, but the average that we calculated was about 10%. A really easy way for you to solve some of these problems is to just remember the 10% rule. So what we can do is we can just multiply. If we're trying to move up in trophic level, we're going to just multiply whatever the lower level is by 0.1. So 0.1 is going to be our decimal value for 10%. So if you multiply a value times 0.1, so 0.1, your answer will be 10% of your original number. So that's a really easy way that we can move up and down. If it helps you, you could also just move the decimal place. So if you have, in this next example, we have 1,000 kilojoules in the bottom. If you're going to move up, then you just move the decimal place to the left 1. So if you were going to go down, you would move the decimal place to the right. So that's another easy way that you could solve for these. So let's go ahead and look at the last one now. So if you could, please pause the video. Go ahead and give this one a shot. I'm anticipating you won't have much difficulty with this. The concept is pretty simple. So go ahead and pause and then give this a shot here. So if we look at this, we should have came up with, so if 2,500 for 2,500 kilojoules for the phytoplankton, that would be 250 kilojoules available to the shrimp. 25 kilojoules would be available to the snapper turtle, and then 2.5 kilojoules would be available to the shark. So it's a really pretty easy trend for us to understand there. So you don't need to worry about the creating your own ecological pyramid. We don't need to worry about doing that for time's sake today. So that kind of wraps up our summary of ecological pyramids. And this is one of our first big concepts. So make sure that you all complete the ecological pyramid follow-up Google form once you're done with this here. So that way you can kind of get a little bit of a check-in to see how you're doing with those concepts. So that's it for this. I did want to talk really briefly about the next couple weeks. So I actually have my surgery on this Friday. So I am going to be unavailable on this Friday, and then I will not be with you guys for the following 2 weeks. So this Friday, Mrs. Sheehy has offered her services to be our point person. So I've added her email to our agenda. So if you have any questions on Friday with our activity, which is just going to be our Enter the Crime Scene, it'll be a little bit longer than usual, but that's all we're going to have for that day. So same thing, that just needs to be done by 4 p.m. that day. But if you have any questions, you can reach out to Mrs. Sheehy. I did also want to mention that starting next week, we are going to be transitioning into a little bit more ownership being required on your guys' part for figuring out what you're going to be doing during the week. So what we're going to be starting next week is on our first silver day, so which next week will be Thursday, since we'll have our asynchronous day on Wednesday. So on Thursday, I'm going to post all of the assignments for the rest of the week. It'll be up to you to look at the agenda. So scroll to which section applies to you, whether it's in-person lab activity, remote online assignment, or mock activity each of the days. I will also have a section on there you should have already noticed for the asynchronous day each week, so you can look at that as well. So make sure that you're only completing the Enter the Biosphere and the assignments for each day that you're supposed to. So you will have access to both of them. Do not just do both of the Enter the Biospheres on the first day. We will still be taking that for attendance, and that is going to be your check to make sure that you were present, whether you're in person or at home. So make sure that you are leaning on the agenda. It's a very detailed list, kind of identifying what you need to be working on that week. And then also, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Mr. Scott. So he is going to be our sub for the next 2 weeks, and he will be able to kind of help guide you with any questions that you might have. But everything else isn't going to change. Everything is still going to be posted on Google Classroom. The medium will still be the exact same. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help you out in any way that I can. Just keep in mind, if you try and message me, it might take me a little bit longer to get back to you, as I will be recovering from my surgery. So thank you guys so much for your flexibility, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.